Right now, Luka Dončić is doing something we haven't seen in the NBA in years. It's gotten so unreal that even the GOAT, Michael Jordan, had to step in and say something.
The monster, no one.
But here's what nobody is telling you. This run didn't just come out of nowhere. There's a deeper story behind it. From off-court struggles to the unbelievable numbers he's putting up, something bigger is driving this. And in this video, we're breaking it all down. Just wait until you hear the full statement from Michael Jordan, because it might be one of the most powerful things he's said in years. The version of Luka Dončić we're seeing right now isn't just a player having a great season. This looks like someone channeling everything he's going through into the game. You can see it, not just in the stats, but in the way he plays. There's a different intensity, like he's fighting something deeper, and the court is the only place he can release it. When Jordan called him an unstoppable monster, he wasn't just talking about numbers. He saw something in Luka's mentality, that same dark edge he used to tap into himself. And yes, the stats are insane. 33.4 points, 8.4 assists, 7.9 rebounds, but they don't tell the full story. The real shift started the moment news of his breakup went public. On March 6th against the Pacers, everything changed. With LeBron James out and the team struggling, Luka flipped a switch. He dropped 44 points in just 3 quarters, including 22 in the first alone. He was hitting shots and staring down the bench like he was ready for war. But during timeouts, completely silent, locked in his own thoughts. Then came March 12th, over 50 points against the Bulls, along with 10 rebounds and 9 assists, nearly a 50-point triple-double. And it didn't look forced. It was effortless, like he was just flowing through the game. March 18th in Houston, 40 points, 10 assists, just 1 rebound shy of another triple-double. And then March 19th in Miami, the performance that made J.J. Redick call it a superhero performance.
Kind of a night in the circumstances.
It was a superhero performance.
But even that feels like an understatement, because how do you even explain dropping 60 on the Miami Heat? Only 5 players in NBA history have ever put up 60 points and 5 assists in a single game. And now he's the first Laker to do it since Kobe's final night. Just think about that for a second. Kobe dropped 60 as a farewell. Luka dropped 60 like a man with nothing left to lose. He's on a ridiculous run, 9 straight 30-point wins. That's never been done before. Not by Jordan, not by LeBron, not by Kobe, just Luka. In his last 7 games, he's put up 250 points, 50 assists, and 50 rebounds. That's not just elite, that's something else entirely. This isn't just great basketball anymore. It feels personal. Like every possession is him letting something out. And if you're standing in front of him, you're just in the way. But to really understand why MJ called him unstoppable, you have to look beyond the court. Because while everyone's been focused on the highlights, something much heavier has been unfolding behind the scenes. About 6,000 miles away, in a Slovenian courtroom, Luka has been dealing with a situation that would break most people. Imagine spending 10 years building a life with someone since you were basically a kid, only for it to fall apart at the worst possible moment, in a hospital room, while the world still expects you to lead a championship run. This wasn't some messy celebrity breakup. This was serious multi-million-dollar stakes, legal battles, and constant pressure. The kind of situation that changes a person. It all reportedly started on December 6, 2025. Luka had flown back to Slovenia for the birth of his second daughter, Olivia. That should have been one of the happiest days of his life. Instead, it turned into chaos. Reports say police were called to the hospital after a dispute about taking his older daughter, Gabriella, back to the US with him. Instead of celebrating, he was dealing with arguments, stress, and a situation completely out of his control. He ended up leaving alone and flying straight back to Los Angeles, then went out and dropped a 30-point triple-double. Think about that mindset. And it doesn't stop there. Reports suggest he's barely been able to see his daughters since the season started. If that's true, it explains everything. He's not just playing for wins anymore. The court has become the only place where he has control over anything. That's why this version of Luka feels different. Colder, more focused, more dangerous. You can see it in his face. The smiles are gone. The joking with refs gone. What's left is someone locked in, channeling everything into the game. And when he says basketball is his only piece, that's when it gets scary. Because that's exactly the kind of mindset that creates something unstoppable.
She broke his heart and created a monster no one can stop.
And this is where it all comes together. Because the connection between Michael Jordan and Luka Dončić might be deeper than most people realize. Jordan never picked players based on hype alone. It was never just about stats or popularity. He chose guys who carry that same edge, that almost obsessive, borderline ruthless competitive drive he built his legacy on. So when he brought Luka into the Jordan brand back in 2019, people thought it was just a smart business move to tap into the European market. But looking at it now, that feels way too surface level. Because if you really listen to how Jordan talks about Luka, it's not about the step backs or the triple doubles. It's about mentality. He saw something familiar, something personal, that same DNA where winning isn't enough, you want to break your opponent mentally while doing it. And honestly, Jordan might be one of the only people alive who truly understands what Luka is dealing with right now. He's the blueprint for turning personal pain into dominance. Think about it. We're watching Luka's 2026 villain season unfold in real time, and it echoes Jordan's return in 1995 after the tragedy involving his father. When Jordan came back, it wasn't about being liked. It was about taking everything back with intensity that the league wasn't ready for. That's the space Luka seems to be operating in right now. He's channeling everything, the pressure, the off-court chaos, the emotional weight, into a level of focus that feels almost dangerous. It's not just basketball anymore, it's controlled aggression. Jordan once talked about having his own bad boys in the Detroit Pistons, a physical, relentless force that pushed him to evolve. For Luka, the opposition isn't a team. It's everything happening off the court, and somehow, that pressure is unlocking something even bigger. And here's where things get controversial. You could argue this stretch proves Luka is operating at a level we've never even seen from LeBron James at his peak. Yeah, that's a bold claim, but look at the context. LeBron built super teams, made the decision, and had Hall of Fame talent around him during his biggest runs. Luka? He's carrying a chaotic roster, dealing with personal turmoil, and still putting up historic numbers without needing a perfect situation. No system, no safety net, just pure output. And even the Jordan brand is leaning into this version of him. The new Luka line isn't just designed for style. It's built for control, precision, and that stop-start dominance that defines his game right now. It reflects exactly how he's playing: calculated, relentless, and efficient. But what really seals it is how other legends are reacting. Magic Johnson, a guy who played against Jordan, Larry Bird, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, recently called Luka the most unguardable player he's ever seen. That's not casual praise, that's perspective. And it's not just the old generation either. Draymond Green even admitted that no matter how inconsistent the Lakers might look, it doesn't matter. When you have someone controlling the game at Luka's level, you're automatically a threat in any 7-game series.
Luka's playing out of his mind. Luka's been playing absolutely incredible. Ironically, the Lakers have been playing absolutely incredible. Luka at the top of his game makes everyone around him better. And so you ask yourself, how dangerous can they be during the playoffs? And a part of me wants to say not very dangerous at all. But the other side of me know better.
But there's a darker layer to all of this that people aren't really talking about. Luka Dončić sharing the floor with an older LeBron James, a legend who's clearly pacing himself for the final stretch of his career. And while that makes sense for LeBron, it's had an unintended effect on Luka. It's made everything feel heavier. There's this growing sense that Luka is carrying more than just his share of the load. And you can see it in the little things: the body language in huddles, the way possessions turn into isolation, the constant search for control. It's like he's operating in his own space, trusting only what he can create himself. That kind of mindset can be powerful, but it can also be dangerous. Because when a player starts to feel like it's him against everything, the pressure doesn't just build, it isolates. And isolation like that can push anyone to a breaking point. That tension seemed to boil over on March 21st during that heated moment with Goga Bitadze. This wasn't typical trash talk. Luka looked genuinely rattled angry, in a way you don't usually see from him. After the game, he hinted that things crossed a line, mentioning comments directed at his family. Whatever was said, it clearly hit a nerve. And that moment matters not because of the incident itself, but because of what it revealed. This version of Luka isn't just locked in, he's carrying something.
He said it free to my whole family.
What made that moment hit even harder is what Luka pointed out afterward. Goga Bitadze wasn't just talking trash, he reportedly did it in Luka's native language, knowing the refs wouldn't catch it. That's what made it feel personal. It wasn't about the game anymore, it crossed into something deeper. Trash talk is part of basketball. Everyone accepts that, but there's an unspoken lie, and family is usually where that line sits. And for Luka Dončić, that line means everything right now. He's been visibly carrying that weight, writing his daughter's names on his shoes, keeping them close in whatever way he can, so when that gets targeted, it's not surprising the reaction isn't measured. That's how you end up with moments like the 16th technical foul situation. He knew the risk. He knew what a suspension would mean for the team's position, but in that moment, none of that mattered. It wasn't about standings. It was about emotion taking over, and what's happening off the court might explain why. There are growing reports that since the separation, Luka has completely changed his routine. He's leaned all the way in conditioning, diet, late nights in the gym. Not just to improve, but because there's nothing else pulling him away. One insider put it bluntly, he stays until 2 a.m.